Hey guys, I did a powerful coaching call with a hospitalist who's on the brink of a critical decision. He had to decide if he got accepted to a fellowship and he should pursue that in cardiology, which was his dream, or should he pursue his real passion and interest in real estate and grow his real estate empire. I've been in that same exact situation as a cardiologist and as a real estate investor. So please listen into this episode as I break it all down for him. So, are you asking me?
No, so Mike, I guess I have a very specific question.
Okay.
If I want to continue this journey, and I was asking you specifically because you've been through cardiology training and also been on the other side with real estate investing. So I was kind of trying to get an idea of how easy or difficult would it be to scale while in fellowship. Will it put me behind by 3, 4, 5 years because I'm going to lose income in that period of training? At the same time, I don't know how much I'll be able to actually do.
Okay. And I'm going to use this as a teaching point because I'm sure a lot of other people will ask the same question. So is it okay if I use this in the future for like a teaching moment as I teach you? Okay.
Sure.
All right, guys. So Hirsch is a phenomenal doctor. Where are you based out of, Hirsch?
Chicago.
He's in Chicago. Smart guy. Came from India. Got into internal medicine. Working hard. Got interest in real estate, but still had his eye focused on his goal, which was to become a cardiologist. He matched. Can you share where he matched?
New Orleans. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, New Orleans. I can,
That's
but it's
fine.
just that I
Just say,
haven't.
yeah, fine.
Yeah.
He matched in New Orleans for cardiology. Great, very difficult to do to get into cardiology, but he did that. Now you're at the point where you're about to start that fellowship.
Yeah.
Okay. And the question is, he invested energy, time, money into real estate, started learning from, a mutual friend and client of ours, and is now starting to grow real. Do you have real estate now under your belt or no?
I'm doing single families. I'm investing more this year. I'm
How
planning
many
on
do you
it.
have now?
One last year, and I went through the whole short-term rental course and planning to do one or two more. If
Okay.
not two, then I'll try to do duplex.
Okay.
And then coaching. I'm not coaching myself. I mean, I'm coaching myself and learning about syndication. So I'm heavily
Learning
investing.
about in syndications, it seems intriguing. Maybe 1, 2, 3 units under his belt. And now the question really is, do I pursue cardiology fellowship and become a cardiologist? Or do I go hospitalist and continue my real estate empire? Or is there option 3, which is a hybrid approach of some sort? And that's
Right.
the question. And so, guys, I want you to see how I sort of tease apart, because he knows the answer. In fact, most of you guys out there, the wisdom is inside of you. So if the wisdom inside of you is just really, for us as mentors and coaches and guides, is just to tease it out and bring it out. So remember, clarity is power. So why do I keep saying that? Because once you understand the end game, the outcome, the result, that is what is going to help us guide us on our intermediary decisions. So Hirsch, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 10 years from now, let's say even 10 years from now, if I gave you $20 million, I'm sorry, let's say you have $20 million right now that I give you, what would you do with the rest of your life?
Keep investing. Focus on investment and growth.
Would
That
you want to run a cardiology clinic?
as as a as a
Okay.
business owner.
Let's say I gave you $100 million. You've written off all your loans. You've paid off everything. You've built houses for every single member of your family in India. You've bought them all, like, Maruti cars as well, right? You've dined with some famous cricket players and whatever else you care about. You've done everything you can think of, and you're bored. What would you do with the rest of your life? And if you say keep investing, I'm like, why?
Okay. That's a fair point. But the only thought and the reason I I'm at this bifurcation is
No,
because
no. Go back to that question. I'll get to you why you're at the bifurcation in a second. But if you achieve that goal of $100 million, which very few people in the world will ever achieve,
right,
and I don't care what you say about inflation, $100 million is still $100 million.
sure,
And investing more and achieving more won't majorly change your life at this point. What
I
are you going
guess
to do with the rest of your life?
I guess you're asking me the why.
Yeah, I'm getting to the why, but I'm doing it in a way that is tangibly, you have to answer now.
Right. Yes, spend more time with family.
You didn't seem that excited about that answer.
No, I mean I love working out, I love traveling. Um, opening up clinics where it's nonprofit, and I'm okay with that. Like I do have that at the back burner also that
So
I'm
that
thinking
doesn't
about.
seem that exciting to you either. So you really want to grow and invest. You're into growth mode. You're hungry.
Yeah.
So cardiology is not as exciting to you as real estate, or what?
It is, I mean, at one point, if you ask me, like cardiology and nothing else, and I'm like even scared to discuss it with my closest friends that I'm thinking maybe about not doing it because that's the kind of interest I always had with cardiology. So I just feel like
I get it. What shifted?
uh, if training slowing other goals down,
So why did you want to get into cardiology?
because that's the only thing that excited me in terms of medicine. I like medicine as a whole, no doubt, but I was always interested in interventional cardiology. Now I'm not because of the lifestyle, but it's the perspective shifts when you're in training and when you're done with training and you see the lifestyle of other people.
So lifestyle, initially it seemed intriguing. It seemed like a challenge. You're
Right.
probably not doing it because you really care about the individual person. It's more about what's interesting to you, what's driving you, what's challenging. It's sort of has a cachet about being a cardiologist. I get that, what was driving you. So for a brand name, it's very difficult to get into sort of obstacle challenge. But then the lifestyle is already turning you off, at least for interventional.
Yeah.
What is it why is there even a decision here between real estate and this? Like, tell me what is confusing you right now, or what's the challenge in the decision making process?
That I might have to set aside my real estate goals on the side for at least 3, 4, 5 years because 3 years of training, less income. And after that, also, it'll take at least 2 years on a W 2 job or anything to make that kind of capital again.
So the reason why anyone is ever confused, my friends, is there's a values hierarchy. And so for him, the number one thing, if you can hear from his conversation voice, seems to be making money and achieving financial freedom.
Yeah.
The challenge, the interest, the service in cardiology is not a top value for him at this point. You can already hear it in his voice. You can see it. It's like he has to sacrifice to do cardiology versus it was a privilege and an honor to even get in. You didn't hear that a single second in his voice. So the decision is already made. He's just trying to figure out how to rectify it within himself and to share it with others.
I mean, the other thought I had was that cardiology is like a paved path. There is structure. With anything else, anything entrepreneurial, there is no structure. It kind of definitely scares me. I'm not even going to lie about it. It's not that I hate cardiology. If I still, if I'm doing nights, which I don't, but I'll still wake up to a heart failure case, no issues compared to somebody coming with like I hit my toe somewhere. I'll still take care of both patients the same way, but the excitement level is much higher with a cardiac case. That's a given. My scaring is like, okay, am I putting myself back and I have to start at the bottom again when I'm 38 or 39?
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing there is the way he talks about cardiology is, again, not in the most glowing rate. It's almost something he'll tolerate. It's something he'll do. He's okay with it, but it's not like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a cardiologist. I'm so freaking like excited. I can't wait to do research. Can't wait to get into this clinics, create a cutting edge clinic to really disrupt the industry. I'm going to be one of the foremost cardiologists in this particular subspecialist or topic. That's not anywhere in his vocabulary. It is a means to an end. And so real estate, the only reason there's a hesitancy is it's not as proven, and he's unsure about a little bit the path to get there. But if that was there, it'd be a no-brainer for him in his brain, because he knows he's tasted success, he's tasted freedom, he's tasted independence, he started to taste other things, and that's more exciting to them now. And that's why he went to all the way to the trouble of finding my email, reaching out to me somehow, and hoping that I'd say yes, and then surprised that I did say yes. And now he's on a Zoom with me, and he's like, all right, like I'm gonna just lay it all out, and I'm gonna come up with some decisions. So that's where we're at. I think, I'll be honest, you're thinking this as a binary decision. Yes, cardiology, no to real estate, or yes, real estate, no to cardiology. There are 4 to 5 other variations. Why don't you come up with a couple of them and share them with me right now?
Well, the one variation is go to fellowship, put in that 3 years of hard work, because I don't want to, probably might not want to do anything else in terms of additional training. But I don't know how to invest in those 3 years, or how to even manage the 1 or 2 that I might have, because like I can't be responding to emails or guest communications when like there's a patient encounter. It's definitely much more challenging. So, but that's one possibility. It's going to be tough pursuing the fellowship and doing investments, but I don't know how to raise capital and when I'm doing fellowship, because that's going to be challenging, and how to continue education in real estate, because the cardiology education will be mandated and I will do it anyway because I have to do it. But this probably will again be sitting on the back burner.
All right. So when you're making a decision, everybody, there's usually option A and option B. Maybe if you guys are creative, you come with option C, but most of you guys won't. So why is that? Because we're just used to thinking in just black and white. And I want to introduce you to the shades of gray, right? So there are probably 10 options here, and he's only thinking now of 3. I'm glad he got the third one in at least. So what it could be option 4. Option 4 could be, I will do all in real estate for 36 months. And if it doesn't work out, I'll reapply to cardiology.
Cardiology. Yeah.
Is that an option? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll try I'll go into cardiology full in year 1. And if I love it, this is what I'm going to pursue, knowing that real estate's always going to be there for me.
Right.
Option 5 could be, hey, I'll make enough money as a hospitalist. I'll hire a right hand in my real estate company. And while I pursue cardiology, my real estate can grow in conjunction because I'll have a team. Instead of thinking like how most doctors do, the worst thing out of a doctor's mouth is, if it's to be, it's up to me. Meaning they literally they have to do it all themselves.
Yeah.
And instead, they always think about how. Poor doctors think about how. Rich doctors think about who.
Okay.
So there are multiple variations on this. You could also go all in with real estate, and if it doesn't work out after a year, you go into cardiology, right? There's multiple things. But in the end, the way I think is, I don't think about if it's not going to work out. I assume everything I touch turns to gold. I have to touch it long enough. And right. I choose the path that makes most sense to me. Ikigai is what you're good at, what you get paid for, what you're passionate about, and what the world needs. Right. So you could answer yes to all 4 of those questions for both professions. But the way you're framing things, I don't think cardiology is what you're really chasing. It was an income, it was a status, it was a challenge, and it was a lifestyle. Lifestyle's questioned. Right. Challenge, both are challenging. Yeah. Status, I think you're getting over that. It's not as a high status as you thought it was. And then, yeah, I don't know I forgot what the last one thing I just said. So tell me if I'm right or wrong. And I don't know you, so I'm just hearing what you're saying, right, asking you questions and looking at your body language and getting an answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, status, absolutely, but I'm not chasing a field for status. Like if that was the case, I would try to be a neurosurgeon or anybody. But I genuinely like the field. But my concern came in only honestly after the match, and I'm like, should I be putting 3 more years, or because I was constantly hearing, and I would rather talk to a physician who has done the route path like yourself and has seen both sides. And I'm not devaluing cardiology. I think it's super exciting and amazing. It's just that personally, I felt like, okay, am I going away from financial freedom if I'm going down the trap of training again and then trying to climb up the ladder as okay, graduate, new grad, new cardiologist, level one, level two, and so
So,
that's
so though,
scary.
if once you said financial freedom is your number one goal and your values
Yeah,
hierarchy, then that's your answer, right? When
right,
you're going to cardiology, the goal is not financial freedom. The goal is service,
right,
interesting field, uh, a scientific endeavor, passion about, a way to help people from that perspective.
right, right,
That was my reason for going in. I had many people with heart disease and, I want to do it. And it also provided a good lifestyle overall. Like it
right,
provided, a good 6-figure, 7-figure, not 7-figure, but it's a good high 6-figure income eventually.
right,
Right. When I was in it, that's when I made my decisions. First to pursue a different type of cardiology, and I went into functional medicine. But because I wanted to protect my income from that I earned from cardiology, as I did an experimental venture, which is cash-based,
right,
boutique, reversing disease versus managing disease, I added real estate as a side hustle. What happened was real estate was just so successful, both as a single family and eventually as multifamily syndications, that it became something that I couldn't deny anymore. It was like, my God, this is like, if I put even a little bit, because I put no energy toward it or very limited energy, and it was like growing leaps and bounds. So me devoting more energy just took me to the next level. So it became an elf business for me, which I've talked about before. Easy, lucrative, and fun
right,
versus hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And then, so anything I've done medically is great, but it's never been an elf business.
right,
So, then the next thing I did, which was another elf business, is coaching and consulting and being, high performance mentor to physicians. And that's just exploded. And again, it doesn't even feel like work. It's effortless. And
right.
it's everything I'm touching. If it's creating 7-figure companies and doesn't require so much of my time, I can build a team around it. I can leverage and grow and scale it. That's exciting for me. And so those are things I'm pursuing. But I'm really glad I went into cardiology, and I was really appreciative of the experience. And I really think it helped me in all the things I'm doing subsequently. So I wouldn't change anything, in my path. That being said, you're at a juncture where you're, figuring things out. So it's really a values hierarchy question. No one can make the decision for you, but for
Yep,
yourself. But
yep.
based on what you're saying, if financial freedom is a number, I've never used the word financial freedom when I was applying for cardiology. That was not even in my vocabulary.
I just
Oh,
got introduced to it.
right. So remember when I was training, all of this kind of stuff never existed. There was no passive income MD. There's no white
Right,
coat investor. There's no limitless MD, right?
right,
A physician was a physician was a physician, and that was it. And I was like starting to explore and experiment and things like that. But based on my knowledge of human psychology, of physician psychology, and what I'm hearing from you, the decision to pursue real estate is what's more meaningful to you. And if I had to guess your purest intentions of what you really want in life, I think that's the path.
well, yeah, it took me a few months to even say it out loud. I was talking to
Yeah.
my parents and I'm like, but I think I like it. And I'm
The thing
honestly,
is,
yeah,
the last thing I have to say as we wrap up here is, if a decision is reversible, make it quickly and move on. If it's irreversible, you spend hours and months and years thinking about it.
sure.
Technically, this is a reversible decision.
Reversible decision. Absolutely.
Do you have to reapply? Yes. Is it going to be tough again if you wanted to go 3 years later to get into cardiology? Yes, it's going to be a challenge. Is it impossible? No. You've already done it once. You can probably do it again.
Right.
Maybe you have to do a year of research prior to you prepping again and doing it, or whatever. Or you have to have a good story of what you did in your time off. But
Right.
that's about it.
Okay.
I hope that
Awesome.
helped, my friend.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate your time. It means a
That's
lot.
awesome, man. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful to all of you guys listening, and I think this is the kind of decision framework you need to have. Think about the values hierarchy. Think about what's most important to you. Think about decision being reversible or irreversible. Think about really, if you had all the money in the world and you had to spend the rest of your life, what would you really get excited about getting out of bed doing if it wasn't just for the money? And then finally, realize that there's not just one decision, but there's probably one option. For example, there's probably 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options. And don't make decisions in your head, make them on paper, lay them all out, weigh the pros and cons, combine decisions together so you have multiple options. And then just once you make that decision, don't go back, move forward, be confident in your decision and go for it. And then last thing I'll leave you guys with is whatever your touch turns to gold. Only caveat is you must touch it long enough.
Right. Okay.
All right, friend. We'll talk later.
Thank you. Thank you very much.